U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
Hawaiian families.
In Loresho village in Kenya's Rift Valley region,
So we did Kenya.
residents celebrate with a traditional
That is
gospel
difficult.
song saying, "Thank you, God, for remembering us." The village is south of Lake Baringo, which has been seeing harsh conditions attributed to climate change.
As community, yeah,
I love
we've
Kenya.
experienced
I want to go so
some
bad.
long
I
dry
would love to
spell.
go there. It looks like a really
At
cool
the same
country.
time,
Yeah, they do
we've
have
been
corruption problems
experiencing
with their
a
police, though.
peculiar rainfall for
Nothing that foreigners
short
have to worry
time
about. It's just
for
sad.
a long time.
Well, you wanted to
Climate
go to
scientists-
Uganda, though, didn't you? It's right next door.
Oh yeah. We'd stage in Kenya though, because that's where the U.S. like secret missions are.
Yeah, okay.
You'd
Like
stage and go
Philip
over the
Omondi-
border into Uganda like
Mhm.
Coney does.
Yeah, okay.
say human activities have polluted the atmosphere and nature is
Oh, look,
fighting
I get.
to readjust itself.
Hmm.
When nature is fighting back, it is fatalistic. That is what we are experiencing now. We are having more of extreme climatic events and very frequent and quite biting. So the droughts that we are having will be very, very intense. The floods that we are having will be very, very damaging because nature is trying to readjust itself by fighting back.
The UN Environment Programme says Africa contributes just 3.8% of the world's global greenhouse emissions. Yet, its communities are some of the most vulnerable to climate change.
It's so fucked.
70-year-old Lokuta Lepakany says he lost all his livestock to the deadly drought in the Horn of Africa and was displaced from his ancestral home 2 years ago by the rising waters of Lake Baringo.
I had
Damn.
2 farms.
Oh man,
one
look
on
at
this
his
side
stretched
and
ears,
one on the-
man.
I lost them all, even my houses, everything.
He's
was
probably
wiped
like
away.
that's probably like old school,
American
like
non-profit organization
because he said it was his ancestral home, right?
Mm.
So like like it's a very colonial thing where they made like people ashamed of their like scarring and stuff.
Yeah.
So like by his age, he was probably like those were probably done at a very young age, and he
Mhm.
just still has his lobes open, and he just doesn't
Yeah.
wear the jewelry or anything anymore.
Give Directly is helping people like
Is
Lepakany.
Kenya's the lip disc? Is that Kenya?
Ethiopia as well.
Ethiopia as well. Okay.
Yeah. There's the tribe that goes across the regions but stretched ears are very common in
Yeah.
all over the world,
Yes, yeah.
especially in like rainforest and African cultures.
Why is that?
I think they just figured out they can do it or something. I mean, King Tut had
Fair enough.
stretched ears.
Who? What?
King Tut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Egyptians were
Interesting.
notorious for stretching their ears.
Interesting.
cash transfers.
Seems like a hassle
Nah,
having stretched ears.
not really.
No.
Well, because like it depends on like how you do it. I think the lip plate is way more of a hassle.
Well, my problem is I like over-ear headphones that interfere. I don't know.
I mean, I take them out because these small headphones press them against my head.
Yeah.
So it says here, archaeological evidence indicates that disc and plate librets have been invented multiple times, including Africa, Sudan, Ethiopia. So that's 6,000 BC, Mesopotamia in 15,000 BC, and coastal Ecuador in 500 BC.
Damn. Okay. That's very interesting. Coastal Ecuador. Crazy.
Mhm. Usage in the Americas. In South America, among some Amazonian tribes, young males traditionally had their lips pierced and began to wear plates when they enter the men's house and leave the world of women.
Interesting.
The largest plates are worn by the greatest orators and war chiefs.
Yes. That makes sense.
$1,000 to build resilience to climate change.
It is time, number one, for us to be able to get.
Oh, look
Did he
here.
say
They
$1,000?
even mention us in here. In many Western nations, some young people, including members of the modern primitive movement, have adopted larger gauge lip piercings, a few large enough for them to wear proper lip plates. Some examples given on the BME website. That's us.
Interesting.
That's
by
our
providing
clubs.
cash transfers of up to
Huh?
We said that's our clubs. I know a ton of people with stretched librettes, but plate size,
Yeah.
very few have
I bet.
been around. But I know a few specific people who have actual plates.
I think I've seen a couple chicks that have like a stretched under,
Yeah, the stretched
down here.
libret is very common.
But only like a little bit.
Yeah,
to
you actually scalpel
1,000
them.
US
What?
Yeah. So it's like you stretch them to a certain degree, and then it's just easier that you just take a scalpel to them to
Sure.
make the
Okay.
hole bigger.
Sure.
And that's when you get to the big sizes. And then when you take them out, you can't even notice that they're there.
Oh, really?
Still, yeah, just because your lip curves on itself.
Yeah, true. Interesting.
dollars to build resilience to climate change.
It is time, number one, for us to be able to get donations for the aid sector go directly in the hands of the people who need it.
I agree.
Then after taking it there, give them the opportunity to make the decisions on how that money can change their lives.
Phoebe Marichon is one of the more than 6,750 households that Give Directly says it has helped in Baringo. She used the donation to buy land and build a new home. The 32-year-old mother of 5 says the charity has helped her rebuild her life.
Kuna tofauti kubwa sana kwa maisha yangu.
There's a big difference in my life. At least now I can get school fees for my children because I have a small business. I also cultivate a farm that I bought upstream. So now when people are harvesting, I also have something to harvest and get food.
Give Directly's Baringo field officer Ivas Ngetich says the program
Everyone just seated under the tree.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like grab a seat, just the tree.
That's where the shade is.
I love it. I
Those trees are super
agree.
shady. Look at them.
They look great. I'm jealous. I want to sit under that tree. That's a good look. That's great. It's hard to find trees like that. Like it's honestly very hard. Especially around like residential areas. It's very sad.
Is working.
We've seen recipients build houses.
Trees probably
They're able to
adapted
improve
like
their living
that, so
conditions.
animals would take
And
shelter
someone would
under
say,
them,
"I
and the
bought a-"
seeds would cling to their fur. It's evolution.
Yeah.
The trees that flattened out became more successful in spreading their seeds because animals would go underneath them for shade.
Interesting. Because Kenya's very flat, isn't it? Generally.
I mean, it's a pretty big state, so let me type in their biomes.
Yeah, I'm actually because I'm not 100% sure because I don't think it's like mostly savanna grassland, isn't it?
Tropical, subtropical, moist border, broadleaf forest, tropical and subtropical grasslands, savannas, and shrublands.
Yeah.
Flooded grasslands and savannas, montane grasslands and shrublands, deserts and xeric shrublands, mangroves.
Okay. Interesting. Huh. What an interesting biome.
Mattress. I used to sleep on the floor previously, and so they talk with a lot of passion.
As experts project effects of climate change to continue and even expand, Omondi says the best way to help communities is by giving them capacity to adapt. Juma Majanga, VOA News, Baringo, Kenya.
I love that they use local reporters. That's cool.
So check it out. I got some maps real quick.
Fucking maps, hell yeah.
Yeah, so like this is a population density of Kenya, right? As you can see, it's kind of blocking. Hang on. As you can see, we can clearly see where the population is focused in this state, right? Look at that. Look at that. Those spikes. I love these ones.
Yeah.
But so if we look at that with the biomes, like here's one that's also just
What's the
a
purple?
little. Well, like this is just like a 3D picture, you know.
Ah, okay.
Google.
Yeah, so they're mostly around a river, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, because there's a body of water on that side.
Mhm.
That it's the
And
one that's
it's
like
floodland though, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a danger on Civ 6. You shouldn't build there.
What are you talking about?
You
That's
don't build your city on floodlands.
yeah, you do. It gives you bonuses. It gives you the floods can give you disasters, but most of the time it's better because you get like bonuses from the food and stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah, same with volcanoes. Volcanoes can give you a lot of extra science.
I think we're done though. This was just a miscellaneous video that was on the globby list. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're done. Actually, no, this one.
Here you go.
No, one more. No, this
One
one's
second.
important. We need to do this one.
This is distribution of the 7 biomes in East Africa, which is this is just like the grasslands, right? The savannas. It doesn't label what they are, but you know, here's Kenya here. See, there's this body of water here. So it's crazy. Africa's actually like being like it's like slowly getting cut off. Like East Africa over like you know,
Yeah, it'll become an
thousands of
island.
years from now, they're going to be like completely separated.
More than half of Zimbabwe's population will need food aid this year, the country's cabinet heard late on Tuesday. That's after a devastating
I thought
drought
you
that
all
led
just
to
discovered a bunch of
widespread
gold.
crop failure.
What happened?
Did I say crop failure?
On Tuesday. That's after a devastating drought that led to widespread crop failure. According to the Zimbabwe Livelihoods Assessment Committee, 6 million people in rural areas and 1.7 million in urban areas will require assistance. The country is among the worst hit by the El Niño-induced drought in southern Africa. The government says it is the worst drought in 40 years.
I was wondering,
Worst
right?
drought
Because
in
summer
40 years.
was pretty mild here, right? And I was looking at the weather like, fuck, we're about to get fucked. I guess it wasn't Australia that I was right about. I guess it was Africa. Fucking hell. I'd rather it happen here.
Yeah.
The latest crop assessment put maize production down by 77% in the 2023 to 2024
I know people who
summer
subsidize
season.
corn that could give them a bunch of corn.
Zimbabwe has also failed to feed
Who
itself
could we
since
call to help
2000,
them with
when
corn?
former President Robert Mugabe led land reforms
What
which disrupted
country?
production.
The land of corn. Corn land. America. Corn.
It's funny because like I think corn is introduced there because I remember there was a thing where they like for aid they like planted a bunch of corn for this one country and they're like, we don't eat this. You know, like you can't just like be like, hey, here's a bunch of food that's not part of your staple diet, you know?
Yeah.
Climate change has made matters worse. Last month, a local consortium of private millers said it is planning to import 1.4 million metric tons of white and yellow maize from Brazil and other countries to cover the food deficit.
Damn.
President Emerson Mnangagwa has appealed for $2 billion in food aid. Meanwhile, the United Nations and the UN's Children's Fund are also calling for financial assistance to save millions from hunger.
No. Anyway, cheery one to end on. There we go. News.
That was corny. What was corny? Oh, the story. Because it's corn. It's
All
corn.
Right. We are done ski.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?